Handstand work is actually two skills. You have to have the ability to get upside down consistently into the handstand position, and that is the first and most important thing that you're going to have to learn. The second part is whatever you're doing in the handstand, whether it's a handstand hold, a handstand walk, or even a handstand push-up, but really just getting upside down consistently is going to be the most important thing that you can work on. So in the beginning of this program, that is what you're going to be seeing is a lot of work on how we get upside down and the consistency for that. We're going to break it into little pieces so you can take a look at each individual piece and video yourself and take a look and see where you can make the most improvements. Because if you do not get upside down consistently on a regular basis, then you will not be able to perform the handstand walk itself consistently also on a regular basis. So start there and work your way forward. The first step into the handstand is called the lunge. It's going to be this big step like this as opposed to having very narrow stance. We want to start with this big step to get us closer to the floor and to create this straight line from our shoulders to our back foot. So when we reach down for the floor, our hands can reach nice and easily without having to drop in order to get to that position. Also, when you stand up out of this position, you want to set your feet back where they were. So when we're practicing getting inverted, we're going to start from here with a big lunge, a bent front knee, straight back leg. As the hands hit the floor, back leg comes up, and as I come back up, my foot should land where it started. So this is the process of going in and out. This is good to keep the front leg bent to make sure that you're staying close to the ground, and also so the knee is bent so it can push to load you up into the handstand. From the lunge position, we also want to identify the lever. And the lever means that it's my back foot and my shoulders creating a straight line through my hip. By bending in this lever, we're going to get soft and it's going to be harder to stand up. And also when you go into the handstand, bending in the hip can cause the back leg to fling, creating an inconsistent result of how much power you have going into the handstand. Long story short, try to keep your back leg and the glute squeezed tight so it moves with the body. This is really a lot like a seesaw where you got the kids at the playground, one going up, one coming down, and that creates this nice sturdy position. So we have least amount of inconsistencies with the speed of the back foot as we go into the handstand. For the handstand, getting the hands to the floor on the kick up is a really important part. A lot of people have a tendency to either reach their hands too far away from their front foot or they put their hands too far underneath their body. Both of these is a disadvantage. Let me show you why. If I reach my hands too far out, I'm going to lose some momentum because my hands hit the ground really hard. Anytime you hear your hands hitting the ground hard, it is momentum leaving the movement. So we don't want to hear any noise, but also putting your hands too close creates a shoulder angle where my shoulders are past my hands. This puts a lot of body weight into the shoulders, and it's going to be hard for me to maintain position without collapsing on my head as I go into the handstand. And so what we want to do is reach our hands out just a little bit further past our shoulders. If you look from the vertical position as the camera is set up here. As I'm going from this position, I don't want to reach my hands under, I want to reach them slightly out in front. This is similar to pole vaulting, if you want to think about it that way, having the pole out in front of the athlete so they can put pressure into the floor. And from here, as I push into it, I'm going to allow my shoulders to rock forward over my fingertips. So my hands started out in front of my shoulder, and then as I push, my shoulders go over my fingertips. But you never want the shoulders to go all the way past the hands because then you have too much bend in your shoulder and you're likely to fall on your face. So we go from this position, reach the hands out, and push. Now, also related to this is the head position. And the head position on a handstand is also very important. When you are going into the handstand, if you tuck your head down like you're doing a completely extended shoulder position, this is a very weak position for the upper body. So you think, oh, well, when I do a split jerk or whatever, and your arms are overhead, you want to push your head through and you find that extension in the shoulders. Yes, under those conditions, this is great. But with the handstand, what we want to make sure that we're doing is keeping our head looking at the hands. When we do this, There is a difference in the scapular position. So if we're thinking about our scaps, having our hands in front of us brings the scaps around, so your armpit is facing the floor. It's facing forward, and your elbows are also facing forward. As soon as you allow the elbows to go backward and the arms to come this way, your scaps move all the way up to the top by your neck, and now you're supporting all of your body weight as you go into the handstand with just your traps. This is a very weak muscle in this position, and let me show you with an example. Try this with a dumbbell and see which one feels stronger. Okay, so I have this 10-kilo dumbbell, and what I'm gonna do is 2 different positions, just what I was saying with the arm. So first position, we're going to hold the dumbbell overhead and create some weight leaning onto it, because this is what it'll feel like. We're gonna be in this position, and we're gonna see how hard or how easy it is to hold the dumbbell behind my head as I lean forward. You can see that I'm shaking, and this is relatively difficult. Maybe I'm just not that strong. But the other option is we're going to have this position where I can see it, and now we lean forward and let the weight bear down, and this is a lot easier to hold. Because I'm holding with my shoulder muscles instead of my upper back, I can hold more weight, and that's what we want in this position going into the handstand. So while you're going into the handstand, make sure that you are looking at the floor and your hands are in front of you. It should be very much like this, maybe even a slight arch in the upper back with your chest facing the floor. From here into this position. This also gives me room to move if I need to make an adjustment by pushing my shoulders through to maintain the balance. But if my head is under, then I'm not gonna have that opportunity. Here's the head under into the handstand with the upper trap doing all the work, and what I don't recommend. There's a lot of stress up near my neck. It's not good. You'll see some people in the gym doing it. This is a good thing for them to fix as soon as possible. And yeah, there you go. So keep your head looking at your hands while you're going into it, because it places the scaps in the correct position for you to be able to maintain more strength in your shoulders and even a little bit in your upper pec while you go into the handstand. When you're doing your handstand walk or your handstand march, it's really tempting to start your movement before your hands completely finish hitting the floor. For example, a lot of people going into their handstand march because they're thinking, hey, I want to take a bunch of steps. They'll go one hand, then the other, and continue to move. And this is something I want you to avoid. Make sure that both hands hit the floor at the same time. So they need to hit simultaneously. And that will make sure that my body is now heading in the trajectory I want it to. If I place one hand, kick up, and I don't have the other hand down, it's very likely that my body starts tipping over to that side first, and then I have to make the correction for it. And if somebody is, trying to learn how to maintain balance, this is gonna be the first thing to throw them off, and then it feels like you're actually worse at it than you are. So make sure that both hands hit the floor. It's just a general rule. Both hands hit the floor, and then you can start moving, whether you're doing the handstand march or the handstand walk. When you're doing the handstand, make sure that you are looking at the floor. Handstand walks or handstand hold, not the handstand push-up, please, because we don't want to mash our forehead on the floor. But when we get into the handstand, we want to be able to look at the floor, because it's really going to help us maintain balance. When you start putting your head in this way, you have to maintain balance just off feel, and this is a lot easier to do. Plus, if you're doing handstand walks, it gives you a little bit of comfort to know that the floor is there and there's nothing else in front of you, so looking at the floor is going to be helpful. Additionally, if you are doing a handstand walk and your head is tucked in this way, it is really hard to reach back behind your head because of a lack of mobility. If you are looking more at the floor, which does cause a little bit of upper back arch, but if you are looking more at the floor, your hands can reach in front of where you're looking, and that is not going to challenge your mobility in your shoulders or your thoracic. So just make sure that you guys on handstand holds or handstand walks are looking directly down at the floor. It's going to be a lot easier for all of your handstand work. Again, except for the handstand push-up, please, head straight, spine straight, handstand push-ups are safe. From the lunge going into the handstand to get inverted, it's really important to use your front leg and not just push against the floor, but push forward so you push your body over your hands. There's a difference here. If I start with a big lunge and my hands go down, if this bottom leg pushes directly upward from the bent position to a straight, My hip goes up, but it doesn't go forward. And what I need to remember is that my body weight is centered back here. And when my hands hit the floor, I need to push against the floor to push my hips over my shoulders and my hands. So I go from here and I'm going to push my body that way by pushing my foot that direction. So bottom leg should help propel your body forward. And that way you can buy more time, even if you're not going completely upside down into the full vertical position. By pushing forward, it's going to buy you some time because the momentum goes up, lets you do some steps and then come back down.